Here you go.
Hey, aloha to our candidates, our directors, and our guests. I'm Greg Misakian, president of the Kokua Council, and we want to welcome everyone to today's Kokua Council Candidate Forum. Today we welcome Shotaro Dobbs and Sharon Moriwaki, who are the candidates competing to be the next District 12 senator. Senator Moriwaki is the incumbent and current senator for District 12. She has served in this role since November 2018. Shotaro Dobbs currently serves on the Waikiki Neighborhood Board and is also a legislative aide working at the state capitol. We are again looking forward to learning more about the candidates and their positions on the many important issues that impact State House District 12. Senate District 12. That's using an old boilerplate doesn't help. Senate District 12 and Hawaii. Lila Mower, the former president of Kokua Council and current president emerita, will be the moderator for today. I now introduce Lila, who will begin the candidate forum.
Aloha and mahalo for joining us. I'm Lila Mower, serving as today's moderators. Starting with Sharon, please tell us about yourself, your background, and experiences qualifying you as senator for District 12. Oh, you're muted.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay. Thank you, Lila, Greg, Kokua Council. I am Sharon Moriwaki, seeking re-election as senator for Senate District 12, representing Waikiki, Ala Moana, Macaulay, Sheridan, and Kaka'ako. Most of your Kokua Council members know me as the co-convener of the Kupuna Caucus, the only legislative caucus that includes not only legislators, but Kupuna service providers and interested community members. And my House co-convener and I introduce and shepherd the top 5 proposals every year to take to the legislature, and it's coming up in November. So I encourage Kokua Council and others to submit their proposals. And that's one reason why I'm seeking re-election, is to continue this work for the Kupuna in our state. As to my background, I grew up in the Sheridan neighborhood of the district, went to Kaimiki High School, and my parents took out loans so I could go to college. And with their help and fellowships, I came home with a doctorate in gerontology and a law degree. And I've been in public service ever since, in Governor Y. Hayes' cabinet as labor deputy director and as human resources director, in the judiciary as the administrative director of the courts, and at the University of Hawaii as assistant vice president for academic affairs. And as senator, I served in the Housing and the Health and Human Services committees, chaired the government operations and the labor and technology committees. And currently I'm vice chair of Ways and Means, the Senate Money Committee, and I'm chair of its capital improvement projects. I ran as our community's candidate to be a voice for the district. At that time, there was a lot of buildings going up, high-rise luxury condos, and my neighbors and I decided that we needed to have a voice in the Senate. And so when elected, I pledged to take our voices to the Senate. And I continue to do that and to serve we the people, not special interests. Of course, I now represent many, many voices throughout the district.
Thank you, Sharon. Shotaro, your response, please.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Kokua Council, Greg, and, Lila. And thank you, Senator Moriwaki, for participating as well. My name is Shotaro Dobbs. A little bit about me. I was born and raised in Waikiki, have still lived there. And I went to Kalani High School, where at 16, I dropped out, got my GED at McKinley Adult School. And I've been working since 16. I've worked in all industries from retail, hospitality, finance, and I finally ended up getting a job at the Hawaii State Capitol as a legislative aide. In 2023, I worked for a representative, and then 2024, I worked for one of the senators there. Reason I'm running is, I had a pretty difficult childhood from my family being homeless to still living paycheck to paycheck and having to, work every single day to make sure we have a roof over our heads. And I just want to make sure that no other kid or person has to go through that same type of life, since it's pretty annoying to have to do that every single day. I want to live life and not just have to survive it, right? So I want to make sure no one has to just survive, but they can thrive and enjoy life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shotaro. The next question goes to you, and it's from Doug.
Hi, thanks for doing this. I have a question. During the COVID lockdown, a lot of us realized that Hawaii is seriously over-touristed and called for legislation to manage tourism rather than just blindly promoting it. Is limiting and managing tourism a priority for you, or is tourism still the goose that lays the golden egg? And I
Thank you
think
for the question. Thank you. Yes, COVID has proven that relying solely on tourism isn't sustainable, and there's no way we can just blindly keep promoting it. I don't believe in limiting it, but I think we're doing a good job right now of managing it, and we'll slowly reach our goal of making sure tourists and all that understand our culture and how to appreciate and respect our culture and our land. One of the pushes that I'm doing is to try to diversify our economy. I still believe that tourism will always be our heart and our moneymaker. But I believe that we need to invest heavily into our agriculture sector. We have a lot of farmland, but not enough farmers. We don't have modern techniques. Our biggest farming industry, it seems to be, is coffee. So I really believe in pushing for trying to get more farmers to incentivize more farmers to prioritize that industry and to really increase or to bring in different streams of income. Thank you.
Sharon, please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. I agree with Shotaro that we really need to continue with our tourism, our visitor industry. It is our bread and butter. It is bringing in millions to our state. But the regenerative tourism that HTA is now focusing on is really important to involve the community more, and looking at ecotourism, looking at other ways in which we can broaden our base for bringing quality visitors to Hawaii. I also believe in other industries, for example, creative media. We've been funding creative media. We've been funding value-added agriculture, renewable energy. And one of the areas that we're just looking into now is protecting our coastline, with sea level rise really being a problem for a lot of coastal communities you see on the North Shore, but also in Kaka'ako and in Waikiki. We're seeing the erosion of our Waikiki beach, which is an attractive destination for tourists. And we're looking at technology such as growing coral and protecting our coastline. So, for example, the UH is working with the DARPA, the Federal Navy, to develop coral as a seabed, protecting our shoreline. And looking at those kinds of nature-based solutions is critical, and we can be models. Healthcare is another. We just saw that the Cancer Center just got renewed for 5 years to develop early clinical trials, to develop really bringing in talent so that we can deal with Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander healthcare, and especially in preventing and treating cancer.
Thank you, Sharon. All right, the next question is yours. Do you think Senate District 12 is healthy and successful? Why or why not?
I think Senate District 12 is very diverse, and both economically and age-wise, and we have a lot of potential. Of course, we have Waikiki. It is a visitor attraction. It's a destination hub. And we have we have been working with the Waikiki Improvement Association, and they have now a homeless coordinator. They've got people working to bring aloha back and clean up Waikiki Beach and keep it. I mean, it's beautiful now. When I first started, they were homeless. It was all kinds of graffiti on the wall. So it's beautiful, and it is becoming very regenerative. In the Kaka'ako side, we've got high-rise luxury that we can't do anything about because that was all approved years ago. But what we do see is a lot more commercial enterprises. And I just want to plug Kaka'ako as being the healthcare destination for the state. We have the medical school, we've got the Cancer Research Center, and now they will be hiring soon the head of the Hawaii High-Tech Corporation. And if that happens, the hui of those kinds of minds and talent would be terrific for us to start being. We are the healthiest state in the nation, but we haven't really capitalized on it. If we bring these forces together, we can actually develop an industry, an economic sector of healthcare and attract Pacific Asian patients, as well as neighbor islands residents who have cancer don't have to go to MD Anderson, Texas, and stay the rest of their life there. They can come here and be treated here, and we can look at prevention and possibly, with all the great minds, a cure for cancer.
Thank you, Sharon. Shotaro, your answer, please.
I love the music. But thank you for the question. Do I believe Senate District 12 is healthy and successful? I believe it's successful in the sense of finances. It seems, Waikiki and Kaka'ako are making a lot of money, due to the tourism and everything like that. In the sense of healthy, I'm not too sure about that. We have an increase in crime and what is it? And well, we have a lot of issues compared to when I was a kid. We had the, beaches and everything was super beautiful. You could run around on the beach without stumbling over, a person or two. Now you got like 5 feet of beach and that's about it. We're losing land, we're losing local people, and the issue with homelessness is increasing drastically. We used to be called or we're called paradise, right? Everyone refers to Hawaii as a, beautiful place, paradise, but I think we lost that title a long time ago once we became complacent with having people on the street and every single day someone dies on the street due to some violence or drug issue or just starving. We have local people moving out of state to try and find better opportunity and better jobs or housing or anything. Actually, that's it. Sorry. Thank you again.
Thank you very much. All right, the next question is yours again, Shotaro. One of the most pressing issues for the state is the lack of affordable housing. Senator Chang has been a proponent of social housing, suggesting that the government underwrite the construction of residentials, which must remain affordable. What are your thoughts about his ideas? So Shotaro, you're first on this one.
Hi. Okay. Thank you for the question. I do support Senator Chang's efforts in helping the housing industry and trying to kind of fix it. I've sorry, a little brain fart. Sorry, give me a question. You're right. Looking at the question you typed in chat is a major help. But sorry, my Zoom won't open again.
The question is about affordable housing and Senator Chang's ideas.
Okay, sorry about that. In terms of Senator Chang's ideas, I know he has a bunch, but wouldn't know exactly which one to talk about since there's so many. It depends on, he has so many different types of affordable housing bills. So it's a little, hard to answer based off of a specific idea he has implemented. So I don't want to just speak blindly into it and answer it wrong. So I will just pass the question along. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sharon, your response, please.
Yeah, I think that what the crux of Senator Chang's initiatives is that we really need affordable housing. The cost of housing is really so high that what he's looking at is government underwriting some of the infrastructure costs so that anybody, new first comers, you know, not having owned property before or a condo before, can have a place at the table, can get a unit, and then it can build up from there. What I do believe is that our cost of infrastructure is so high that we do need, as government, need to support that. So in that respect, I do believe in, I don't know if you call it social housing, that term. I know it's been used in different ways, but I do believe that government can do a lot more. And we have put in money into the affordable housing for the infrastructure development to help first-time owners, and ways in which there's a number of ways, not just one silver bullet, but a number of ways that we can help people be able to get housing. Right now, we're looking at rentals because that's the easiest way and cheapest way for people to get housing, but everybody wants to own housing and their own units. And so everything together, I think we have a really full court press on that at the legislature and at the city. I can see what the city is doing as well to develop housing and Hawaiian homelands for the Native Hawaiians, really looking at this is our number one problem in the state, and we have to have affordable housing. Otherwise, we're losing such great talent moving out of state.
Thank you. The next question is still along those lines. It is often alleged that many of the condo units in District 12 are empty. Will the proposed vacant homes tax that is being considered by the city and county make more housing available and accessible in your district? So Sharon, the question is yours first.
Okay, I agree it would. I'm not sure the numbers of people who are not living in their units. I think quite a few, and they are vacant because they were bought for investment purposes, especially the luxury high-rise units that are in our district. So I think this vacant home tax would help, and I think it would be a way for us to get more stock in our housing for our residents.
Thank you, Sharon. All right, Shotaro?
Thank you. Thank you. You know, the proposed vacant homes tax could help make more housing available by discouraging property owners from leaving empty units, especially in, you know, high demand areas like Senate District 12. By incentivizing owners to rent or sell, this policy might increase the availability of homes. However, the effectiveness will depend on how the tax structure is, or how the tax is structured and enforced, along with ensuring it doesn't unfairly impact residents with the legitimate reasons for keeping properties vacant. Thank you.
All right. Now, the next question is rather long, and Shotaro, it's yours to take first. So if you could follow in the chat. District 12 has many multi-unit residentials, including apartments and condominiums. The legislature has ignored or deferred numerous bills that would have helped condominium owners address concerns regarding misconduct, unfair treatment, deferred maintenance, and lawfare against owners. Recently, appropriate departments and agencies, including legislators, were sent a letter detailing reports that an instructor in a class for mediators was imbuing those instructors with biases against condo owners. Will you support an ombudsman's office or a similar office to address concerns within condominium associations and other homeowners associations?
Thank you. Yes, I do support in the creation of a of that office. Sorry, every time I try to say that word, I stutter, and then it goes into a whole stutter fest. But yes, I do believe in the creation of that to address concerns with condominium and homeowners associations. It's important to have a neutral, accessible resource to help resolve issues with such misconduct, unfair treatment, and maintenance disputes. This would provide condo owners with a fair and transparent process to address their grievances without having to resort to expensive legal battles, and to kind of ensure a healthier and more balanced community governance. Thank you.
Thank you, Shotaro. Sharon?
Yes, thank you. I go back and forth on this. An ombudsman or somebody that is a mediator, we put in monies, and every condo owner actually puts in money for mediation. And so there is a procedure. I know that the ombudsman proposal was actually passed into law many years ago, and it didn't quite work out. So there is a task force that is looking at all of these issues before it's being coordinated by the Legislative Reference Bureau, or there's a group that has met and is continuing to meet, but it's looking at other jurisdictions. How do they solve these problems? Because condo, the 514B is a separate process and governance for condo owners. And if in fact the law is to be changed, it really needs to be getting voices from many sectors. And so I would defer to the task force that's formed to bring out these issues and possible solutions that we can do on a statewide basis. And right now, I'm not real I don't know enough about what the ombudsman would do. And I think the task force should bring out the pluses and minuses and how we might go about with a good procedure to help these condo owners who really have problems within their condo association.
Thank you very much. All right, the next question goes to Sharon first. What are your thoughts about HHFDC's plans regarding the block 803 in Waimanu, whose developer had difficulty selling the remaining units, most of which are subject to restrictions, including below market prices, and many which lack parking stalls?
I don't know enough about how the developer has defaulted on not being able to sell all the units. I do know that those are all really required by all developers when they come in for assistance from HHFDC. I did check with HHFDC, and they are looking at resolving that, and if not being able to resolve it, of being able to buy it back and see how they might be able to sell it. But I think it's a problem between the developer and its promise to HHFDC when they first got assistance.
Thank you, Sharon. Shotaro, your response, please.
Thank you. The challenges faced by the Block 803 Waimanu project highlight broader issues with affordable housing development in Hawaii, particularly when restrictions like below market pricing and limited parking may make it difficult for buyers. I believe the HHFDC should focus on creating flexible, attractive solutions that meet the needs of working families, and including practical amenities like parking. We need to kind of strike a balance between affordability and functionality to ensure these units remain accessible and desirable for local residents.
Thank you very much. All right, Shotaro, the next question is yours. And again, it's very long, so please look at your chat. We have all heard news reports of corruption and pay-to-play. Often, residents who attempt to report unlawful activities with unambiguous evidence never get any follow-up or assistance. Departments and agencies such as HPD, DPP, DCCA, RICO, and the Attorney General's office often dismiss complaints or do not follow up. If you're elected, will you assist residents who bring concerns to you with evidence of unlawful activities and corruption, including helping them to report these concerns to the proper agencies or authorities? And will you follow up to ensure that proper actions are taken? Or will you refer those residents to various government agencies?
Awesome. Thank you for the question. Wow, it is definitely a long one, but I, of course, will be helping anyone who needs help in all factors when it comes to referring them to proper council members or anyone in the district. I will, for sure, help anyone who has any info or knowledge on unlawful behavior or anything like that. I worked in customer service for a long time, so it's kind of in my blood to keep following up with anyone and anything to make sure that people have the right answers and that everyone is taken care of. Sorry. When it comes to corruption, we've seen a lot throughout the years when it comes to DPP and even in the legislature when it came to one of the representatives and one of the senators that got sentenced because of the bribes and all that. So it would be my job, if elected into office, to take appropriate action to make sure not just legislators, but every single State Department is held accountable for all their actions, and to properly publicize that type of information to the public to make sure that they know everything that's going on as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sharon?
Thank you. Yes, ever since I've been elected, anybody who comes to my office and requests assistance, we will do the best we can, whether city department or DPP, planning and permitting. We will follow up with the agency and not necessarily be able to get through to everybody, but I definitely have my office following up on every request that comes through. And we will assist to get resolution, or at least put them in touch with the department to follow up. So I have done that since day one.
Thank you very much. All right. The next question comes from Dale. I'll read it for him since he's not with us. And it goes to Sharon. Will you be willing to write a bill for a policy requiring people submitting testimony on proposed legislation to declare conflicts of interest and to speak truthfully to the best of their knowledge?
You know, I have problems with that because I think that I was a chair of several committees, and when the testimony comes in, I read every testimony. So you can see where they're coming from, and you can know that they have special interest. A lot of people testify with special interest. So I don't know whether a bill or policy saying that you must say that you have a conflict of interest. It's kind of obvious. And when we read testimony, we can see whether it's one-sided or not. And we hear from everybody. So in the end, it's the legislature that decides whether it's a good bill or not a good bill to address a problem. So I'm not sure I would be willing to say, across the board that you need a policy to say you have a conflict of interest. I mean, all of the legislators, all of the boards and commissions have to declare what their interests are. And it's pretty much based on pecuniary interests, right? Whether I get paid, whether I represent parties that pay me. It all has to do with whether I get a personal benefit from it. And otherwise, lobbyists have to sign up that they're representing certain interests. So I think I stand neutral on that. I don't think a bill is necessary, a policy is necessary. I think we should be, as legislators, be given the credit of reading all the testimony and being able to know that where they're coming from.
Thank you, Sharon. Shotaro?
Thank you. Yeah, I don't believe in having to write a bill exactly about this. Like Senator said, lobbyists and groups like that need to tell or and when they submit their testimony, they do have to list who they work for, and you have to sign up to be a lobbyist. But I think writing a bill on requiring everyone to declare any type of conflict of interest or anything like that might sway the average person to not want to testify. And the average person already has issues with trying to go through the Capitol website and submit testimony. When I was a legislative aide, the amount of calls I got on testimony day or the day before was, hey, how do I access this website? I don't know where to go. I don't know what button to click, and I think the government doesn't do the greatest job when it, is trying to give information to the public. But as when I was a legislative aide, I can tell you that I'd say like 90% of the senators and the House representatives do look through every single testimony. There may be a lot, but I know for a fact that they do their due diligence, and they do read the testimony and actually change their mind or kind of appreciate the opinion of the person testifying. And like Senator said, it is obvious when someone believes in what their interest is, right? And yeah, it's up to the legislator to decide that, and I don't think we need a bill on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, the next question again is long, and Shotaro, it's yours. There have been numerous child welfare services failures reported. Some were related to children's death in foster care, and other fails pertain to the lack of proper licensing of foster homes for children. Reports indicate that Hawaii has failed to meet several federal standards for children in its foster care program, including safety and well-being outcomes. If elected, what will you do to help protect children placed into foster care? And what will you do to ensure that child welfare services is properly staffed and run?
Thank you for the question. Yes, I think what is it? The child welfare system across the entire United States is flawed. We do need, I know they don't get enough funding, and I do know some people who do work in that department that you don't get paid enough for the amount of, the amount of paperwork and things you have to do. Just like most of the industries that try to help the less fortunate. What is it? I think we do need stronger oversight and accountability within that, within the child welfare services. I have some friends who went through that system, and I could tell you that most of them did not have a good experience in it. It was obvious that whether it was a lack of oversight or anything, that those foster parents, or some of them, did not get background checked properly, because the amount of abuse that comes out of that, out of CWS, is insane. I mean, it's incredible how much slips through the cracks when it comes to that, and we really do need to protect our keiki. And it's sad to see, but that is a main priority that I do want to address. Thank you.
Thank you, Shotaro. Sharon?
Yes, I'm not really familiar with, other than the cases that we see in the press, how well across the board the child welfare service is doing. I do know that we do need to increase salaries for our staff, especially social workers. We're working with the School of Social Work to bring in more social workers into the Department of Human Services. So maybe it is, without really knowing more, I can't say, but if it's compensation of staff, bringing in more social workers, training them, and making sure that we have the licensure program of I know that we need lots of foster care homes, but being able to say, you know, we need quality foster care homes and not just foster care homes. And I would support the department as they look at solutions to make sure that every home that we put a foster child in is safe.
Thank you very much. All right, the next question again is long. The state's Office of Planning and Sustainable Development reported new strategies to raise funds for infrastructure improvement and development. Those strategies include expanding the capacity of general excise taxes and increasing the cap on the transient accommodation tax. What strategies do you propose to raise funds for infrastructure improvement? Sharon, the question goes to you first.
You know, taxes, right? How do we raise money to do major repairs to our infrastructure, and especially the coastal buildings on the coastal on the coastline? And it's going to cost millions and millions of dollars. I mean, if you look at the North Shore and the homes that are crashing into the sea, and it's affecting our sewers, and the sewage running out to the ocean. And then we've got the NEPA, the Environmental Protection Agencies, saying you can't pollute the waters of the ocean. So you have to buttress everything that you do, but you can't harden the land in the coastline. So it's going to cost a lot. We don't have a lot of money, but you know, to tax perhaps the green tax that the governor has talked about, ways in which when we tax, the tourist or the resident can see a return on investment. So it is maybe special funds, which we don't like because it's, you know, it doesn't give us the general fund the money that we can spend on everything. But we do need to look at a procedure by which we look at the future and putting money in, not just for building new buildings, but really in maintaining and making sure that our coastline, look at also the roads. The Department of Transportation is looking at how the water is eroding our roads. So how do we manage retreat with that? So it's very costly. And it's a problem that all of us have to look at, and how do we pay for that and be willing to, whether it's raise taxes or take a portion of the taxes and dedicate it for protecting our infrastructure, and especially our coastline, because we are so vulnerable with our coastline.
Thank you, Sharon. All right, Shotaro, your response, please.
Hi, thank you. I don't believe in just blindly raising, you know, taxes when it comes to GET and the transient accommodation tax. I think it's a very complex issue that won't be solved with just raising taxes. I know a lot of people talk about the out-of-state tax, which I do believe in we should be doing. So that's one way to help. And kind of prioritizing public-private partnerships, you know, can also be another way we can help with this issue. And lastly, re-looking at where we allocate money, because when I was a ledge aide, I was actually able to kind of focus on state budget bill and everything like that, and where money was, you know, prioritized to. And there's a lot of questionable things that I don't think are a big concern to a lot of people that money is going into. So I think we just need to relook at what we have been spending our money on and kind of moving that around. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next question again is quite long. Although District 12 may have more condominiums than almost any other district in the state, for the last 10 years, its senator did not sit on the Commerce and Consumer Protection Committee that overlooks condo law. It's been noted that some legislators believe that they were assigned to leadership positions on certain committees because the issues that the committee oversees does not hurt that legislator's electability. Thus, and this is only provided as an example, you may have a legislator from an urban community chair a committee that deals with agriculture. or a legislator from a rural agriculture community who chairs a committee that deals with condominiums. What are your thoughts about these arrangements? And Shotaro, the question is yours first.
Awesome. Thank you. I mean, there is inner politics when, legislators are assigned to certain committees. I don't believe every single one of them are placed on a committee just due to electability, right? If you do look at the background of a lot of legislators, they do have experience in that industry or have worked in that industry for a while. When it comes to educational backgrounds, I don't believe that just that alone should be a factor in if you become a chair or co-chair in a committee. It's based off of your experience within that industry. Sorry, I'm just re-looking to make sure I got the question correctly. But like I said, I don't believe that a lot of the legislators are placed just because of internal politics. We definitely, actually, I'll just be re-saying the same thing. Yes, that is my answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sharon?
Yeah, I don't think that it has anything to do with being assigned based on electability. I think, and I can only speak for the Senate, we will ask the president and the vice president for committees that we would like to sit on. And for example, the agriculture chairs are from rural areas. And so now we've got a lot more input on what you saw with the coffee bean and the macadamia nut labeling. So it really helps that you have background in those areas. And most of us try to look at areas that we think we can make a difference. I was a labor deputy director and the HR director for the state. So I chose to go on the labor committee. And I was chair of the labor and technology committee because I was interested in technology and making this and streamlining the state's operations through technology. So we select committees that we think that we can make a difference on and that we have some background in. And I think it really depends on each legislator and what they believe that they can actually make a difference and provide some input that will help. Not always you get the committees you want because there are a limited number of committees, but yeah, I think we get selected or assigned based on what we ask for, and some we get and some other people want. So, it goes that way. I don't think it's based on one's electability getting assigned to committees. No.
Thank you very much. All right, this is the last question, and it's for Sharon, starting with Sharon. Governor Green issued an emergency proclamation to stabilize the condominium insurance market. It's alleged that the insurance commissioner's office has not shielded the residents of Hawaii from unaffordable and possibly predatory property insurance rate increases, putting increasingly more homeowners at risk of having to sell or lose their homes. What do you suggest would ameliorate the condo insurance crisis, which is now affecting other insurances, including auto insurance?
Yeah, this is a tough one because it is a nationwide problem with insurance, with property insurance. In terms of what we did for Hawaii, we have only certain regulatory control over the insurance companies that, let's just say, starting with condos, that insured condos, and they were going away because it was too costly and because of the Lahaina fires didn't help. But if you look at it, it's a balancing. Do you want to squeeze and lose any insurance? And we'd have to then look at self-insurance. And right now, I think the governor and the task force is looking at what kinds of solutions do we have? It's the Hawaii Property Insurance Association doing like we did for, Hurricane Iniki, and when we started the Hurricane Fund. But, looking at how do we help people, and especially condo owners, a lot of them are in older condos that have the higher insurance rates because they haven't been keeping up with the maintenance and, the spalling of buildings after 50 years, is concrete. So a lot of it has to do with how do we help, yet how do we protect and keep insurance companies here. And I think that's being discussed right now in the governor's task force, and we're hoping that we have a chance to discuss that in the coming legislative session, and hopefully come with some solutions that can help, especially the fixed income people, the kupuna that are in older buildings. Yeah, it's a tough one, but we have to solve that.
Thank you, Sharon. All right, Shotaro?
Thank you for the question. To address the condo insurance crisis, I think a lot of it comes down to, the regulation and oversight of that, whatever industry. So I suggest enhancing regulation and oversight of the insurance market to prevent predatory practices and, the pricing due to that. This could include setting caps on rate increases, improving transparency and how rates are determined, and trying to encourage competition by attracting other insurers to the market. Additionally, just like how a lot of other countries do it, for example, Japan, they have a bunch of different types of government-backed insurance options, just like where, the type of healthcare they have, they have private and public, state or countrywide insurance that does encourage a lot of competition within that industry, and it's proven to work. So I do believe one of the biggest ways we could decrease costs is to have better government-backed options. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, mahalo, candidates. We're nearing the end of our forum, so please take up to 2 minutes to make your closing statement, starting with Shotaro. You will be followed by Kokua Council's president, Greg Misakian, for his closing statement. So Shotaro, please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Kokua Council, and everyone who did show up, especially Senator. It was a fun time. Sorry for showing up a little late. That's my bad completely. My little, closing message would be, if you do want to find any info on me, I have a website, shotarodabs.com. It has all my contact info and everything like that. And a little messages. We need everyone to vote, especially this election. It's a very important cycle. Every single voting cycle is important. This year has proved that we have an incredibly low voting turnout. Regardless of who you vote for, Republican or Democrat, try not to use party allegiances to cloud who you vote for. Vote on the person who you believe would best serve your community. Because at the end of the day, it's not a Democrat versus Republican issue. It's a Hawaii issue. It's our issues. We all want the same thing. We want to be able to afford food, afford housing, live our lives. And I think we have a little too much hate going on right now. And let's bring back that spirit of aloha, let's, start caring for each other again and developing that sense of community that we have lost throughout the years. And thank you, everyone, again. And thank you, Senator. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shotaro. All right, Sharon?
Thank you, Shotaro. And mahalo to Kokua Council for sponsoring these candidate forums and giving me, the chance to share the work I've been doing for and with you. It is an honor to have served you and to work on priorities for our district and our state: crime, homelessness, caring for our kupuna, supporting our keiki, growing our economy in new areas like creative industries, healthcare, renewable energy, and sea level rise solutions. And I want to continue to work on issues that we have been looking at and what we launched last session: a kupuna-focused long-term care system with supportive housing for elders too frail to live at their own homes, and nature-inspired solutions through sea level rise to protect our vulnerable coastlines with new technologies and community planning. You can learn more about me as well at my website, sharonmoriwaki.com, and join our e-newsletter there to learn more about our district too. And to continue this work on your behalf, I ask for your vote in the November 5th general election. So again, I'm Sharon Moriwaki. My pledge when I first was elected still continues to listen to you, to work with you, to be your voice in the Senate. And together, we will build a caring Hawaii. Mahalo. Aloha.
Mahalo. Greg?
Thank you, Lila. On behalf of the Kokua Council, I want to thank both candidates for participating today. We appreciate your time to answer our questions, and we hope that this forum will help voters make the best decision when voting. I also want to thank our directors for their work to organize these forums and Lila Mower for moderating. We hope you can join us for upcoming candidate forums. We have 2 more scheduled for this week, and those are our final 2. And we ask that you please watch for updates at the Kokua Council Facebook page. You can get more information there. And again, we want to thank both of our candidates. We really appreciate your time, and we're trying to end on time, even though we started just a little bit late. So we thank both of you for participating, and we hope you have future success, and we wish you both the best in your candidacy. Thanks again. Mahalo to everyone.
Mahalo. Thank you.
Mahalo. Aloha.